Welcome to my Asshole Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my Asshole Podcast. It is a beautiful Sunday episode. My goodness. It's good. All right. Before we get into today's show, a bit of housekeeping we got to do for this week. So, as you know, this week, I hope you saw my post and, understood why there was not a Thursday episode on YouTube anyway. And, yes, so, that Thursday episode got blocked, which sucks. It's weird because they didn't block the previous episodes. They just blocked that one. So what we're going to do is next week we will have a Thursday episode. Hopefully I will still make a Thursday episode. And we'll see if that one gets blocked. If it doesn't, then I will just go ahead and we'll stop doing this book. We'll probably do another book. We'll change the book. And I will finish that book on Sunday streams. And we'll just do that. All right. So that's kind of how that'll work. But you can still check that episode out. It is on Patreon. I'm not Patreon. I'm so sorry. It's on Spotify. So you can check out that episode. It's still on Spotify. It's there, ready for you guys. Link down in the description for the playlist for the book. It'll be there waiting for you guys. So don't worry about that. Again, if next week this Thursday episode does get blocked, if it does, what I will do is I will stop doing this book. We'll continue it on Sunday when we stream on Sundays. We'll continue the book there, and then I will change the book for like next week's Thursday episode, and we'll just do an entirely new book, and that'll be kind of that. Okay, so but again, if this book continues to give me problems or whatever, I will I'll keep, doing the episodes and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I want to finish out this book. I really do, because it's an interesting book and I really want to go through the whole thing. So if they decide to, continue to block me or whatever on streams, then what I'll do is I'll just make a bunch of episodes, finish it out, and then I'll post it on Patreon, and that's what I'll do. So that way we can finish out the book, and we can do that. So again, I'm gonna find some ways to do it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna still give you guys some book content that's not going anywhere at all. I did not miss that Thursday episode. The Thursday episode's still there. So just so that way you guys know all that good stuff. But I just kind of want to keep you guys in the loop, let you guys know what's going on, because again, and, you guys are very used to my schedule. You know that there's a Tuesday episode. The book episode's on Thursday. So for you guys not to see that Thursday episode, I'm sure that was kind of like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? So, yes, the episode did go up. It is on Spotify. You can go check that out. The link is in the description. So just go to the Spotify. Even on that post, I put the Spotify link on there. So you can literally click that link in the post, and it'll take you right to the episode and so on and so forth. All right. So now that that's out of the way, let's get into today's Sunday episode for you guys. Today we have an interesting thread. This is one I never thought to really do, but I'm kind of excited to see, what goes on. So, bikini waxers, what is the most uncomfortable or awkward situation you have been in? All right. So let's see what's up. When I was doing his butthole, he clenched and accidentally projectile sprayed a little bits of poop at me. That's disgusting. No, that is disgusting. Oh no. See, I'm going home. All right, I'm going home after something like that. There's no way I could just wash it off and just be like, all right, let's continue. No. I would have been like, hey, yo, somebody get this dude. You know what I mean? Somebody finish this up because I'm not finishing it. I'm not about to. No, 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 no. That's insane. That's insane. Homeboy doo-dooed on her. Bikini waxers, what was the most uncomfortable, right? Hold on, I'm sorry. What was the most uncomfortable or awkward situation you have been in? All right. I had a friend who wanted to get a full Brazilian wax. We had all just started college and were making new friends. Another girl said she wanted to get one as well. They were together and found a cheap place. As the story goes, the place didn't do full job for liabilities, okay, and my friend was unable to wax herself down there without skipping a beat. The other girl jumped in, waxed my friend's box with zero fucks given, then or they had maybe known each other for 2 days. They continued to be good friends all through university, and university after a bonding experience like that. That's crazy. Knowing someone for 2 days and it's like, yeah, I already seen your cooch. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you've known someone 48 hours and they're just like, oh, yeah, you know? Yeah, I just, you know, that coochie up real nice. Like, what the fuck? All right, hey, you know, sometimes it creates great friendships, you know? All right, Bikini waxers, what was the most uncomfortable or awkward situation you've been in? I dated a girl who was an esthetician. I'll never forget the story she told me of an overweight girl who came in to wax her bush. She told me the girl was so overweight she had to use one arm to hold up the fat just to see her vagina while using her other hand to actually wax her. There was also a lot of dingleberries involved.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Okay. After hearing that, I told her I was no longer interested in her work stories. Bruh. That's disgusting. That is just disgusting, man. Like, bruh. To be so big to the point where you ain't even wiping your butt right. Maybe she probably don't even wipe her butt at all. If there was that many dingleberries involved, she probably don't wipe her booty at all. That's crazy. Bro, that's nasty as hell. No, that's nasty, bro. That is some nasty shit. Yeah, she probably don't wipe her booty at all. And I always think about that too. I'm like, you know, really overweight people, you know, do they wipe their ass? And if they do, like, how? You know, because there's a lot they're working with, you know what I mean? But yeah, she probably don't wipe her booty at all. That's nasty, bro. Damn. All right, Bikini waxers, what was the most uncomfortable or awkward situation you've been in? I was never an esthetician, but I worked in a salon where this happened. This one lady came in and was loudly asking the front desk staff and other customers details of the Brazilian treatment and sharing her personal experience with laser hair removal down there. You could tell she's weirding everyone out. When the esthetician came in, she was sitting on the bench butt naked. Her boyfriend slash hubby slash whatever was in the room as well, and she said he had to be there to watch. He stood there silently watching the entire 45-minute long appointment. When they left, they were sure to tell everyone how they were going to enjoy the fresh wax tonight. Don't they advise that you not have sex after a wax? Like, isn't it painful? I could be wrong. I've always heard that, though. I've always heard, like, yeah, you know, it's advised not to. Like, I'm sure you can, but I would think the area would still kind of be a little tender, you know what I mean? And so it's, like, it's not really advised to do it. But, again, I could be wrong. I don't know. I have no idea. You guys let me know in the comments, ladies. You know, are you able to do the shebang-a-bang right after, or is it a painful experience if you do? You know, just I don't know. I don't know about that, but if you're proud of it, you're proud of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it. I look at it like, if you're proud of it, you're proud of it. Like, she was obviously proud of having a smooth coochie. So, if she's proud of having a smooth coochie, do your thing, girl. You know what I mean? Do your thing. I don't know why the dude had to, like, stand in there. I kind of thought that was weird. But sure, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a different story. Like, say, if it was a dude esthetician doing it, okay, all right, I understand. But this was a girl doing it, so it's like, bro, chill. You know what I mean? But hey, do your thing, man. Bikini Waxers, what was the most uncomfortable or awkward situation you've been in? There's an episode of The Amazing Race that while in Brazil, the contestants must endure a waxing at a Brazilian salon. It is horrifyingly funny to watch their reactions. The women basically grit their teeth and deal. The guys yell and carry on. Yes, because we don't wax like that. All right. One guy has to check his involuntary reaction to punch the esthetician waxing him. Oh, shit. Damn. That's correct. Look, I get it. For us dudes, we don't do that shit. All right. We don't do the whole, like, you know what I mean, waxing thing. We shave and that's that. We don't do this whole waxing and all. Nah, that's just not in our DNA, man. And I'm sure the gay guys that do it, hey, those are the troopers. You know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna lie to you. You couldn't pay me a good amount of money to wax my shit. No thanks. No thanks. I'll continue to just shave. That's cool with me. Because, like I said, man, waxing, like I don't mind a bit of, you know, like I'm shaving a razor cut or whatever, you know what I mean? That's fine. That doesn't hurt. But a waxing, oh nah, I'd be walking out that bitch like you know what I mean? Your balls touch and everything, and you're just like like, no, it would just be a bad time. It'd be an all bad time, man. Bikini Waxers, what was the most uncomfortable or awkward situation you've been in? I'm a big hairy dude. Had to get waxed for charity last year. The wax was really vicious, and when they were doing the strip down past my belly button, a lot of it went down past my waistband and into my pubes. I was too embarrassed to say anything, and when they ripped it off, the parts down below got ripped too. And I don't think I've ever roared as loud. The waxed ladies thought it was hilarious, but I was not in a good mood, bro. I guarantee you he didn't, he wasn't anticipating them to go that low. I think that's what that way. He was just like, oh yeah, you know, it's gonna be like my chest, my belly button, you know, they're gonna get rid of my little happy trail or whatever. All right, cool, it is what it is, you know. And then I know she laid that shit down and went all the way down his penis, and he was just like, whoosh, you know. My man was just like, God damn, this hurts. Man, I guarantee you he got up and was just doing a dance. Man was jigging and jiving. And then, you know, I think they have mirrors in there. And I'm sure he saw it in the mirror and was like, well, fuck. Now I got to do the rest. Because I'm not about to have just one strip of hair gone. Like, that would look crazy. But yeah, man. Oh, again, like I said, there ain't no amount of money you could pay me to fucking get my shit waxed. No thanks, bro. No thanks. No. Bikini Waxers, what was the most uncomfortable or awkward situation you've ever been in? My waxing lady told me about a woman who used to come to her for religious reasons. She had to get her body waxed before her period every month. Clearly, this woman wasn't the best with dealing with pain because she would scream bloody murder, hysterically crying and flapping about like a mad woman. And it wasn't just her lady bits every time she would get a whole body wax. Her screaming was so loud and so crazy, people would call mall security and even the police turned up. But still, without fail, she would be back every month for her next round of torture. That's insane. I'm sorry, but my religion would not... I would not go through that much pain for my religion. That's crazy. I would just be like, look, Jesus, I love you and all, man, but... I ain't doing this shit. And I don't know what waxing did. I don't know what religious reason she had for waxing, why that was. I don't know. All I do know is you ain't ever gonna catch me doing some crazy shit like that, though. That's insane. That is absolutely insane, because the amount of like immense pain you would go through would be insane. I'm sure waxing lasts a good while. I'm sure maybe like 3 to 4 months or something like that it lasts. But to think about it, I mean, put that into like yearly perspectives. She's doing that 4 times a year. Oh hell no. Oh hell no. Like 3 to 4 times a year, you're just going in there and getting a full body wax. Like, she's doing armpits and arms and titties and, butt and boobs, vagina, all that shit. Like, she's just getting it all done. Like, what the hell? Girl, you just get your ass in the shower and start taking a razor to it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my Lord. No. That's terrible. All right, bikini waxers, what is the most uncomfortable or awkward moment you've been in? I used to get my balls waxed. I went to a salon one time where everything just went wrong. First, I needed to use the bathroom. After I was done, I tried to flush. It got clogged up. My man doo-dooed in there and clogged it up. God bless the waxer. She came in and unclogged it for me. Then I got to the actual waxing. There was blood and pain. I was recovering from drug addiction on Oxy, and I was extra sensitive to pain. After I got smooth, I went to get myself redressed. I grabbed my pants, and the pocket knife I had fell out. It opened up and almost stabbed my poor waxer in the foot. Jesus, bro. I ended up tipping that woman all the money, and I had never returned. I probably wouldn't return either, because not only did you clog their toilet, and she had to come in there and chop your doo-doo up to get it to go down, I'm sure, were screaming bloody murder at the fact that, you were so overly sensitive because you were getting over your addiction and stuff like that, and then on top of that, you damn near stabbed her in the foot. Like, bro, yeah, I wouldn't have gone back either if I'm being straight. I would have been like, you know what? Yeah. Sorry for the inconvenience. I need to go now. I need to go now because, yeah, bro, nah. Bikini waxers. What's the most uncomfortable or awkward moment that you have been in? Here's the strangest response yet to my I'll do anything legal for $5 an hour, bro. A guy called my voicemail this morning and read my entire ad to the machine, noticeably lingering at the part where I say, I'll do yucky stuff, okay? I figured the worst I'd be doing would be emptying bedpans or something, but nobody asked me to do anything more disgusting than babysitting until now. I called back to see what he wanted, and he hemmed and hawed embarrassingly for a few seconds till he got up the nerves to get to the point. I'm really a hairy guy, he said, and I've got a really hairy butt, okay? Then there was a long silence, and I think he expected to hear me hang up. It's very difficult, he continued, to wipe myself because shit gets stuck in the hair. That's disgusting. A lot of poop in this thread. And sometimes the hair gets caught in my underwear. You need someone to shave your butt? I said. Yeah, he said. I thought this over a few dozen heartbeats. Well, I said, I'll tell you what. I've been sick. I'm still sick. And this sounds like work that might make me sicker. Give me another week or so to get my strength back and I'll shave your butt, okay? Great, he said. I ain't looking forward to it, but I do need the money. Called back the guy with the hairy ass. Let's call him Harry to clarify a few things. First off, I said, my rate is $5 an hour, but this sounds like it won't take 10 minutes. There's a 4-hour minimum, so it'll cost $20, okay? That's reasonable, he said. No problem. I'll be in the city tomorrow evening. Is that good for you? He said it was. Give me the address and told me to be there at 6 p.m. Now, either you provide the shaving necessities and rubber gloves, or I'll buy them and bill you. I've got shaving stuff, he said, but I don't have any rubber gloves. I'll bring the gloves then, $4 extra. Okay, he said complacency. That's $4 more profit because there are rubber gloves everywhere at Black Sheets, the sex magazine where I do work. I'll just ask the editor Bill and take a pair. I'd also appreciate if you'd just shower before I get there. I'm planning to, he said. All right then, I said, see you tomorrow. Yep, I'll see you tomorrow then. I want to see, I'll see more of you than I really want to see tomorrow. Okay. I arrived at Aries' house right on time. We shook hands. He invited me in. I was discreetly looking the situation over, but everything appeared on the level. He seemed embarrassed, and I told him not to be. On the living room carpet, he had already spread out some newspaper. I figured I'd be on the floor on all fours, he said, and you can sit on this chair. Bruh. This man is going to be on all fours on some newspapers in the middle of his living room, getting his ass shaved by another man. Bro, what the hell is going on? Oh my God, bro. All right. You can, okay, I nodded and put on the gloves while he went into the bathroom. He came back with big disposable razors. A can of shaving cream and a towel. Ready when you are, I said. He took his shoes and socks off, then his pants and underwear, and assumed the position. Naked from the waist down, his asshole gaped at me. Oh, God. But what really startled me was the hair, man. This butt was almost as hairy as my face. That's crazy. That is insane. And I've got a short beard. It was hairy like Yasu. Okay. Hairy like an Anguangra sweater. I don't know what that is, bro. There was hair everywhere. With a comb, I could have parted it. That's insane. My man was like, I could have took a comb and just whoop, 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 whoop. That's crazy. That's crazy. As promised, he'd obviously showered. Everything was clean. So I sat behind his behind, lathered him up, and gently sheared him. This being San Francisco, I half expected to see him getting off on it, but apparently it wasn't a turn on, and boy, he needed the service was providing. I felt I was truly making his life better. It must be frustrating to always have yesterday's shit stuck in the hair in your crack. At one point, everything I was looking at sort of tightened up for a few seconds, contracted just a bit. I didn't ask, but I think the guy was holding a fart, and I really appreciated the effort. That's crazy. Didn't want to shave all the both cheeks because I figured that would leave his whole bottom itchy and scratchy for a few weeks whenever he sat down. Instead, I left a bald circle extending several inches around the sphincter. Beyond this was the almost ape-like hairness remained untrimmed. Then I gently toweled him dry. I'll let you tell me whether it's a close enough shave, I said. Still on his hands and knees, he tentatively fingered the inches around his anus, shook his head yes, and quietly stood up and got dressed. Smooth as a baby's butt is the cliche I was waiting to hear. Thought of asking if he had some aftershave to slap on, but he seemed completely at ease. I'll just say that. So I didn't make any jokes. Just discarded the gloves and washed my hands in the bathroom. At the front door, he thanked me, gave me 3 tens and said to keep the change. $30 for about 15 minutes of work made me a happy man, so I decided to make him a happy customer. Hope you're not embarrassed, I said. I've done this before, you know. You have? His face brightened. Of course I haven't. Sure, I said. It's not that unusual. That's what every weirdo wants to hear, I suppose, that he's not so weird after all. He stammered. I just really appreciated it. Happy to be a help, I said. Call me if the stubble starts to itch. Not my story, but my best buds. Yeah, it's true. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. There's no way I would do that for only $30. What the fuck are we talking about? I'd more like $100. There's no way, and I mean no way, am I shaving a man's butthole and he's got doo-doo chips in his hair and all that. You know what I mean? I gotta be all up in his business. Man's holding farts and shit like that for $30? $30? That's crazy. That is some crazy shit. No thanks, man. I would have been like 100, bro. I ain't doing this for any less than $100. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? That is crazy. You let me know down in the comments, how much money would it take for you to shave a big hairy man where he's on all fours on some newspaper in the middle of his living room, and you got to shave his butthole? How much money would it take? Because, like I said, I'm being reasonable with $100. I don't know if y'all be a little more unreasonable, but that's crazy. That is some crazy shit to me. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Wow. Just wow. If I'm being straight. Man. Oh, Lordy. See, like I said, I've said it so many times. Ever since I worked retail, I can't work with customers anymore. You know, now that I'm no longer in the retail space, I don't work with customers and stuff anymore. Thank Jesus, I don't have to deal with people anymore and their craziness and their weird. I'm just telling you, man. Yeah, I'm so glad I don't work with that stuff anymore. The people who do still, hey, kudos to you guys, man, because there ain't no way I could be waxing somebody and they spray doo-doo chips on me. There ain't no way I could be dealing with somebody clogging up my toilet. Like, bro, okay, come on, man. There's just so much shit, man. Oh, my God. And, you know, I wasn't too surprised, but at the same time, I was surprised about the amount of people but the amount of times waxers deal with doo-doo. Let's be honest. They deal with a lot of doo-doo. You know what I mean? That fat girl one, hey, that one was probably the craziest one. The fact that she probably doesn't wipe her ass is insane to me. Man, woo! Hey, you let me know what you think about that thread down in the comments, man. And if you got a crazy waxing story, definitely put it down in the comments. But Jesus, whew, definitely let me know what you thought about that last one. How much money would it be? How much money would it take for you to shave a big hairy man to be on all fours in his living room and you have to shave his butt? Let me know how much money it would take. All right. Okay. We're going to move into announcements and then we'll get on to our scenarios for today's Sunday episode. So, patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show like these lovely people did for today. All right. If you are on the fence about Patreon and you're like, I don't know, we are offering now 7-day free trials. So, if you want to check out Patreon and all its glory and everything that it has to offer, then why don't you sign up for a 7-day free trial and check out all the episodes. Check out the full experience, all for free for 7 days. And if you like it, you can continue to pay. And if not, cancel the 7-day free trial. That's that. All right. So I thought it'd be something that I would offer to you guys, so that way we can kind of get more of you guys over there and more of you guys enjoying that content, man. Because the scenarios over there are definitely a little more balls to the walls and crazy over there. You know what I mean? So definitely get on over there. Check it out. Join the 7-day free trial and see if you like it. All right. Audio listeners, thank you for all the support. Appreciate you guys so much. All the downloads have been amazing. Everything's been going up and up and up, and I appreciate that so much. Hopefully this can be a month where we hit 2,000 downloads within this month. Our last 2 months, we were so close. I think on June, we were 4 downloads away from hitting 2,000 in that month, and then July, we were, I think, 9 away from hitting 2,000. So let's try to hit that 2,000 downloads a month, or to that 2,000 downloads for this month. Let's try to hit that goal. That is a bit of a goal for me. I ain't going to lie to you. So definitely get down there, do your part, download the episode, and get a part of that. All right. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all the support. because that means a lot to me to see that you guys are coming back, checking out the episodes, downloading, all that good stuff. All right. So, if you want to help me out even more, go ahead and follow us on Instagram as well as TikTok for the short form content, and subscribe to us on YouTube. All of that does help out tremendously, and it's absolutely for free. All right. Friday, Sunday, and Monday, we do stream. We go live. Come by, hang out, see what your boy is up to, get into the chat and hang out, all that good stuff. All right. So definitely get a part of that. And then, yeah, that's it. All right. So, thank you guys so much for all the support. Let's get on into the scenarios for today. Am I overreacting? I found lingerie in my wife's suitcase before a work trip. Am I losing my mind? Uh-oh. I don't know. I have been with my wife for 6 years, and we've been married for just over 2. From what I'm aware, we have a great relationship. We rarely argue, we have a healthy sex life, and have discussed having children in the near future. At no stage have I had any reason to believe that she would be unfaithful. My wife holds a management position in a tech company and is therefore occasionally away on work trips. I have been with her a few times if it's an opportunity to network or if I want to see a new city, but she usually goes on her own with her colleagues. On Sunday evening, she was packing a small suitcase for a trip the following day. As she was downstairs cooking dinner, I popped upstairs to the bedroom to grab my laptop. The suitcase was open on the bed, which I didn't think much of, but I walked past. Something caught my eye, and it was a red lingerie set. Uh-oh. It wasn't something I'd consider business attire. It consisted of a small lace red thong with a circular loop at the top and a matching red bra. When I did some more digging, I found a black set with another small thong. Uh-oh. It immediately sent my heart racing like a punch to the stomach. My wife doesn't usually wear anything like this. She used to wear lingerie when our relationship and sex was fresh, but she doesn't bother at all these days. Even wearing a thong is incredibly rare, and she would generally only wear plain cotton underwear, which is why this is out of character. She hasn't acted out of the ordinary at all, and that same evening, we had a lovely meal and chatted. Even if I was admittedly distant because of the situation, she picked up on it, and I just put it down to tiredness, which was the same excuse I used when I drove her to the airport yesterday. I haven't been able to get this out of my mind since I wanted to give my wife the benefit of the doubt, but the situation just doesn't make any sense because I don't know why she would pack lingerie for a 2-day business trip unless she intends it for someone to see it. Can anyone help rationalize the situation and tell me if I'm overreacting? I have absolutely nothing else to go off of other than some lace underwear, but this is driving me insane. What tells me is that this ain't a business trip and that she's actually meeting someone. That's kind of what this tells me, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, we can sit here and say we hope, not all we want. But if I'm being honest with you, bro, it's either actually a coworker or she's meeting someone. She's meeting someone. This ain't a business trip. She's just saying, oh, yeah, it's a business trip, blah, blah, blah. But she's actually going to go meet somebody, and they about to do the hanky-panky. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I could see her definitely, not showing any signs, you know what I mean? Just like being real nonchalant about it, being, keeping it a secret, hiding it really well, and, still doing some fuck shit on the side and you would never even know. Maybe she's bored with you guys' relationship and there's no spark and motion to it. Maybe there was something that you did in the past that, she feels like she's got to get some type of revenge for. I don't know. I really don't know, because this is something where it's like, why would she feel the need to do all of this? Why would she feel the need to like even want to cheat on you in the first place? And that's what's kind of crazy to me. I mean, there's no denying it that she's doing something. There's no denying. Like, women don't just do things for the shits and giggles of doing shit. Like, women are very calculated and planned out when they're doing something. So that's why I think that she's been doing something for, a minute, or she's just been talking to this person, and then she's just like, oh, yeah, I can go see you. I could just say it's a business trip. It's nothing out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? My husband won't even know, and, we'll be all good. So, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments. Do you think she's cheating? Do you think there is some kind of explanation to this lingerie situation? Because, I mean, I've known girls to wear, they wear thongs. They say it's more comfortable, whatever the case may be, or there's a certain type of pants that they're wearing. And, there's those kind of reasons. But why would it need to be like a lingerie thing where it's a matching, bra and panties kind of thing? And then why would she have multiple sets? So like I said, I personally think that this was not a business trip. She went to go meet somebody, and she's just been really good at hiding it from you. Either that, or she hasn't been really good at hiding it from you, and you've just been oblivious. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments, though. Do you think she's cheating? Do you think there's a reason? I don't know. I would love to give her the benefit of the doubt and try to come up with something, but nothing makes sense. You know what I mean? Nothing actually makes sense in the grand scheme of it all. It all just sounds like she's cheating, bro. So, again, let me know what you think about it in the comments, all right? Let's get on to our next one. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that her lack of personal hygiene is the real reason no job will hire her and not sexism? Wow. This concerns my sister Lily, who is graduating soon. Our parents taught us the importance of personal hygiene and keeping yourself presentable. I guess Lily fell off the wagon while dorming in college because it feels like she dropped everything to do with personal hygiene since moving back home. It's easier to explain with a list of things she isn't taking care of. Hair, very oily, greasy, and always tangled from lack of washing it. Skin, also very oily, greasy from no wash. Nails, never trims them. They're long and yellow from grime. Clothes themselves are nice, but she leaves them sloppily and wrinkly. Body, showers once a week tops. I'm not sensitive to smell, but my sister reeks. And honestly, makes me gag sometimes. Lily is upset because she says she can't get an in-person job in her field and wants to give up. Our parents have tried telling her that her personal hygiene is important as credentials when getting a job, but my sister won't listen. Lily has a rocky relationship with our family, so she takes it as a personal attack rather than them trying to help. Lily is now blaming sexism and says men are all just intimidated by a competent woman. That's the sole reason why she hasn't gotten a job. If she wants to lie to herself, it's her life. Whatever. I can't stand what I can't stand is her trying to make it my problem and expect validation from me. Lily just did a bunch of interviews, but all went cold after, and none panned out into jobs. She was venting to me last week about how companies in this field are all boys clubs and quick to shoot down a woman they know is intelligently above them. I was basically just a good for you. Can I please finish my session in peace now? Lily got defensive and said she's just warning me, then doubled down saying most men are selfish and I could save myself the headache now. She was saying that this hold on, was saying this with my male friends on the voice call. I had enough and told Lily that her lack of personal hygiene is the reason why no job will hire her. So stop blaming others and think for 2 seconds. If you are a company owner who needs to impress investors to keep your own family afloat, would you want to be represented by someone who looks and smells like a homeless person, or someone who is presentable and takes care of themselves? We got into an argument, and Lily is now either giving me one-word answers or not saying anything to me at all. I'll be honest that we argue a lot, but Lily normally would have gotten over it by now. Did I do the right thing and giving Lola I think it's a Lily a dose of reality, or did I fuck up here? No, I don't think you're the asshole at all, because you have to be harshly honest with your siblings, because you need to understand that when you have a sibling, younger or older, it doesn't matter. When you have a sibling, you're the only one who's going to really keep it real with them. Look, parents are going to lie. They are. That just is what it is. Parents are going to lie and try to make things, oh no, you're the best and this and that. As a sibling, it is your job to keep it fucking real. All right. Me, personally, I have a younger brother. And I don't want to I don't want to put his business out there, but when he became an adult, he was lacking. And it was the thing where I would see this and I'm like, dude, and I would call him out on it. I'd call him out on his bullshit and be like, dude, you're fucking lacking. You're being a bum. You need to start doing something. I don't care what it is. Start doing something. But the fact that you're just sitting around doing nothing is like insane to me. And he didn't like that. He didn't like being called out. He didn't like being, put on the spot like that. But my thing is as your brother and as someone that is going to tell you how it is and be real with you, and the only one that's going to be real with you, I'd rather tell you the truth so your life improves rather than lie to you and your life just either stagnates or goes down. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just stand idly by while, my brother sits there and just rots away doing nothing. You know what I mean? And is being a burden to people, and they don't want to tell them that to their face and stuff like that. And so for you to be that honest with your sister and be like, look, bitch, you fucking stink. All right. Nobody wants to hire you because you fucking stink. You walk into the room and they probably already have decided we're not hiring this girl because of that. You don't even get to present your credentials because they're holding their nose, hoping that this shit's going to be over in like 2 seconds. You see what I mean? So the fact that you're being brutally honest, and sure, again, my younger brother, he doesn't, talk to me as much because I was honest with him and stuff like that. And it's the same thing with you and your sister. She's not really talking to you that much and stuff like that. And you kind of just have to give them time. You know what I mean? Let them be hard-headed and do what they're going to do, because in reality, you were honest with them. And I rather be proud of being honest with them than lying to them, because I know that by me being like harshly honest like that, it's going to stick with them. It's going to stick with them. Whether they like it or not, it's going to stick with them. And when their life gets better, they're going to realize like, damn, okay, this is what my sibling was talking about. This is the reason why they were so hard on me. And my thing is I look at it like, I was honest with my brother, because when that day comes where his life does improve and it does get to a point of, his personal success, he's going to think and be like, you know what? I'm kind of glad you kicked me in the butt. I'm kind of glad you gave me that kind of kick in the ass and you called me out on my bullshit, because it was the reason why I'm successful now and I'm doing the things I'm doing now, and she's going to get to that point too, where she's going to find success in her life and she's going to find that personal success. And then she's going to come to you and be like, you know what? Thank you for kind of calling me out on my shit. It did stick with me. It was something that I knew I needed to change, but I didn't want to, and I was hard-headed, and they'll realize it because they're going to see their life change, and they're going to see their life get to a point where it's getting better. And they're like, and you're going to be like, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm honest with you, and other people aren't going to understand that. You know what I mean? And that's why you kind of got to take it on the chin when it comes to other people. And it's the same with me. I was kind of villainized in my family where they're just like, oh my God, you're being so harsh on him. Oh my God, you're doing this and that. And I tell them, and I double down on it. And I say, no, I'm going to be brutally fucking honest with him. I'm going to be brutally honest with him because he needs his feet to the fire and he needs a kick in the ass. And I guarantee you that feet to the fire and that kick in the ass is going to get him to a point where he's going to realize one day, holy shit, I was being a piece of shit. And now I see what he was telling me. I see why he was saying what he was saying. I see why, he pushed me to do more. Same thing with your sister. She's going to get to that point, where it's like, okay, I see why you pushed me to this point. I see why you said what you said and you did what you did, and you're only doing it out of love. It's not that you're doing it to hurt them or to, you're mad at them or anything like that. No, you do it because you love them. You do it because you're watching your sibling fucking damn near, you're like pretty much, self implode on themselves. And you're just like, dude, you know what I mean? Especially because you as her sibling, you understand how great she is. You understand her talents and how, well she does in her job field. It's a thing where it's like, you need to do what's necessary to make other people see what I see. You know what I mean? And that starts with your hygiene, And so being brutally honest, there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes you have to be the villain. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to be the villain. Sometimes you have to kind of be the bad guy. You got to be the big bad wolf in the story. And again, when your sibling gets to that point where they realize, holy shit, okay, this is why they were harsh on me. Guess what? You'll be vindicated. You know what I mean? And that may take years. That may, take multiple years. It may take a decade. You never know. You really never know. So I don't think you're the asshole at all for said reasons. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Am I the asshole for saying I don't feel comfortable being in a relationship with zero sex or intimacy? Okay, let's see what's up. I, 27 male, have been with my girlfriend, 25 female, for a little over a year. At the beginning, we had a healthy sex life. Nothing crazy, but it was there. But the last few months, she's just not interested. No sex, no touching, barely even kissing. I tried to be understanding, asked if something was wrong, if it was stress, health, whatever. She just says she's not in the mood and doesn't feel like being sexual right now. Okay, fine. I gave her space, but it's been months. Meanwhile, she still expects the full boyfriend experience, dates, gifts, cuddles, emotional support, attention. And if I even hint that I'm frustrated, she says I'm pressuring her and making her feel used. I told her I'm starting to feel like a platonic life coach with a wallet. That I can't do this long term if intimacy is off the table forever. She says love isn't about sex, and that if I really cared, I'd wait however long it takes. But honestly, I feel stuck. Am I the asshole for saying I don't want a relationship with zero physical connection? Yes. No, I'm sorry. No, you are not the asshole at all. The fuck are we talking about? And what she's doing is she's using manipulative tactics to keep you in that relationship by saying, oh, love isn't about sex. Oh, if you really loved me and cared about me, you would do whatever it takes and wait forever. No. What the reality of this relationship is that she enjoys the perks of being with you and the boyfriend treatment without giving you sex. I don't think she's physically attracted to you. I think it's a thing where she got into a relationship with you because she saw all the things that you could offer her. And she gave you a little sex here and there just to kind of keep you interested and to keep it going so that way you'd be serious with her and all that kind of stuff. But the moment she knew that she had you and was just like, cool, I got him, then she withdrew sex. And was just like, I'm just going to get what I want out of the relationship and I'm not going to give him what he wants. And he's just going to fucking deal with it. Because if I don't get what I want and, you know, he's not doing what I want, he'll just lose me. And he can't lose me. And that's her mindset right now, is that she is just pretty much using you to get what she wants out of this relationship. And I guarantee you it's a thing where if she hasn't already, I'm sure there's another guy that, or either that or she's trying to wait for that guy, wait for that next like better guy or the guy that she's actually attracted to, the guy that she actually wants to be with. I can guarantee you that that's really what's going on, if I'm being straight with you. You know, she's just kind of like, you're a placeholder boyfriend. She's just like, I'm just going to reap the benefits and enjoy them until I find a guy who can give me all these benefits, but he's attractive as well. And that's really what's going on. And if you stay in this relationship, it's only going to make you even more miserable. So you might as well get the fuck out of this relationship because it ain't going to get any better. And there ain't no change in her mind because she's already made up her mind that I don't really want anything intimate with you. I want to get what I want and you don't get what you get. And if I don't get what I want, then I'm going to leave you and you're never going to have sex with me. And you need to just be like, you know what? This was great, but honestly, I'm not happy in this relationship, so I'm going to go. And if she tries to hit you with the manipulative, oh, you never loved me, and oh, you never even cared, and da-da-da-da-da, you just tell her, think what you want to think. Think what you want to think. I'm not going to argue with you. This is not an argument. This is not up for conversation. It's not up for debate. I'm not happy in this relationship, and I'm leaving. Point blank, period. And you stand on 10 toes. You don't give her an argument. You don't give her a conversation. You don't say anything. You say, I am not happy in this relationship anymore, and I'm done. We're done. I'm breaking up with you. And again, let her say whatever she wants to say, and you say to her, like, because I guarantee you, I know that she's that gaslighty, manipulative type of chick, and she's gonna be like, oh, you never loved me, and oh, you didn't care anyway, all you cared about was sex, and da 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 da. You tell her, this is not up for debate. I said what I said, and we're done, and you walk away, and you just let it go. And then I'm sure, you know, she might try to, oh, you know, no, you don't leave and blah, blah. You know, oh, we can do this. We can have sex, blah, blah. No, I'm good. I'm fine. I've made up my mind. I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. And you have to be firm about it, man. You need to be fucking firm about it. Do not get back together with this girl. Do not let her talk you back into it, because I guarantee what she's going to do is she's going to, if you guys get back together or whatever, because she's going to give you some sex for maybe a month or two, and then she'll slowly withdraw it again, and it'll go right back to the way it is now. And you over here thought she changed, and you thought things were going to get better, and they didn't. That's exactly what's going to happen. This girl is using you. You might as well just break up with her. And again, this ain't up for debate. This ain't up for debate. I said what I said. We're over. It's done. You know what I mean? You let her think whatever she wants to think. You let her say whatever she wants to say. You're done. You're done. What she thinks no longer matters. What she says no longer matters. You mattered when you were my girl, but you're not my girl anymore. So anything you say, anything you want to spread about me, whatever, it don't matter. I don't care. And you leave it at that. You know, you stand 10 toes, you stand firm. You don't fight her on this bullshit. No, she's not your girl. She's not worth that. You know what I mean? When you were my girl, sure, I'd give you a conversation about it. But you're not my girl. Nope. So I'm good. Peace out. So, yeah, I don't think you're the asshole at all. You let me know what you guys think about in the comments down below. Let's get into our last one. Am I the asshole for not being compensated after my ex had surgery? Okay, what kind of surgery? I recently got into a relationship with a guy from work. We have been dating for a month, and he recently had a surgery on his stomach to take part of his intestines out. I will give you a brief timeline of events. Stayed with him the night before, during, and after. Visited him every day. He was in the hospital and took him home when he got released. Stayed with him 2 days after. Bought groceries. Made homemade soup that he never ate. I hardly heard from him after I went home. Then a couple days later, he texted me around 5 a.m. saying that he was going back to the doctor because something felt wrong. The doctors discovered multiple abscess in his stomach, and he made it seem like there needed to be a procedure done to take care of him. I asked if he needed me there because I was supposed to work that day. He said it was up to me, but he may need a ride. So I called my boss, explained the situation. He gave me the day off. I got to the hospital around 2:30. I also lived 2 hours away from him. And when I got to the hospital, it was very obvious he was upset with me. He was interrogating me on why I couldn't be there sooner. I explained the situation, also that the weather was terrible, and he just did not care. He called me a hypocrite and said that I'm just a needy little support blanket and basically that I dropped the ball, and he wanted me to be there to comfort his daughter. I left the hospital because he said that he didn't want to deal with me. Also, all the doctors ended up doing was prescribing him antibiotics, and no procedure was necessary. A couple of days went by and he said nothing. When he did reach out, he asked if I was still mad at him. I expressed how I felt, and he does not think he did anything wrong. Instead, he blamed me for not being there for him and not having any compassion, and then blamed his frustration with me on the painkillers he was on and the pain he is in. Proceeded to call me a bunch of names, and we ended up breaking up. I know painkillers can affect your mental state, but am I out of line here? I can elaborate on this if I have to, but I can't help but feel maybe I was a little insensitive. So am I the asshole? Well, you said you wanted to be compensated. Like, if you wanted to be compensated for all the things that you did, well, that kind of tells me that you were kind of only doing this to get something out of it, which is kind of fucked up because like that was your partner at the end of the day, and it's like you kind of do these things because you love them. Now look, as someone who has gone through a relationship with someone who has had a chronic illness, I can tell you, yeah, you were being an asshole. As bad as the story seemed and sounded, you know, with him calling her names and doing all this kind of stuff, as someone who has dealt with someone who has had chronic illness, it does happen. I have been in those situations where I worked I worked through the night, and so her and I lived together. She needed to go to the hospital in the middle of the night. It was good thing that, you know, she was able to get to a hospital. Her grandfather took her, and I got off in the morning. I went straight to the hospital and was there with her until she woke up from the local anesthesia or whatever, and I happened to see her, and then I was able to take her home. But the entire pretty much ride home, and when we were at home, she was extremely bitchy, complaining about everything, was upset, this and that. And then, you know, by the time she went to sleep, I went to bed, we woke up, you know, she was kind of like really apologetic about it and was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, this and that. And you have to understand that it's very frustrating. It's not just the painkillers. It's the frustration of just dealing with your body not working with you the way that you want it to work. You know, like, we don't ask for these things to happen to us. We don't ask for stomach ulcers. We don't ask for, you know, needing a procedure to have our intestines taken out. Like, we don't ask for these things. And so when these things inconvenience our life so much, it really does frustrate you to the point where you're so frustrated. You do accidentally take it out on loved ones. You do accidentally take it out on people who are there for you. And as the partner, sometimes you kind of got to understand that and just take it on the chin a little bit, because they're not necessarily frustrated with you. They're just kind of frustrated with everything that's going on with them at the moment. And I understand that you were kind of looking for an apology and you were looking for him to say sorry, and he doubled down and made it, you the problem cause and all that kind of stuff. I get that 1000%. I do. And I understand that you would feel some type of way in that moment as well, because I was in that same position. I felt some type of way too. I wanted to yell back at her. I was like, what the fuck, bitch? Like, I get off work and I go to, be in the hospital for 3-4 hours. Then I got to drive you home. You know what I mean? And the drive to the hospital is like an hour, 2 hour, or an hour and a half away. And then I got, you know what I mean? It was a lot of inconveniencing for me too. And so it was upsetting for her to, I'm doing this for you, the girl I love, and you're bitching and complaining at me, but, again, it's one of those things where, as the partner, you sometimes have to just say, no, they're dealing with a lot. They have all these medications they're dealing with. They didn't ask for this to happen to them. And it is frustrating. You kind of got to have that empathy sometimes with, your significant other being either chronically ill or ill in general. And so, again, that's where, I come in, where I look at it like, yeah, you were kind of overreacting and being the asshole in this situation, because, again, I understand where that frustration comes from on both sides, where you're frustrated because you're like, yo, this is coming out of nowhere. What the fuck? I'm over here doing everything that I can to help you and be there for you. Why are you bitching and complaining? And then I understand it from their position too, because they look at it like, I didn't ask for this to happen to me. I'm pissed off that I got to take this concoction of medications. I got to deal with these doctor visits and all this shit. Like, I didn't ask for this. So, again, that's why I look at it like, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, you were overreacting just a little bit, because if you had understood, like, hey, they're going through a lot, they're dealing with everything, I understand why it's frustrating, then you probably wouldn't have felt the way you felt when he was saying what he was saying. But again, you know what I mean? Maybe you didn't, maybe you did. I don't know. But yeah, that's the only reason why I look at it like you were overreacting a little bit, just because they didn't ask for this to happen to them. Of course, it's going to frustrate them. Put yourself in their shoes for a minute and think about, having stomach ulcers and having your intestines taken out and all this, your concoctions of medication and all this and that. It gets frustrating and it's annoying, because you want to live your life and you can't because of this. So, just try to have a little compassion. That's all I'm saying. All right. That's going to be today's episode, man. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Again, patreon.com/MyTheAsshole Podcast. Exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show like these lovely people did for today. Get on Patreon, get a 7-day free trial, check it out, all that good stuff, okay? And audio listeners, thank you for all the support. Keep showing that support. Follow us on Instagram as well as TikTok. Subscribe on YouTube. And check out the streams. We'll have a stream later today as well as a stream tomorrow. And as far as Thursday's episode, there will be a Thursday episode. Hopefully it doesn't get blocked. If it does, you can find the episode on Spotify. Okay? So I love you guys all. I will see you later today on stream if you pop on by. I'll see you tomorrow on stream if you pop on by. And then I will see you on Tuesday for another juicy episode. Love you guys all. I'll see you later, and peace.